to show you unattended upgrades, automated upgrades in the background. I'm on GNOME here, it's amazing, and we start the food terminal. It's a Wayland terminal. I love it because you can configure it with a simple config. This is the config for the food terminal, and you can make it transparency and auto maximized. I love it, and so this is the perfect fit for my simple GNOME. I'm on Debian, fresh rolled I named it, and since Debian Trixie, the Debian the apt-sources list will migrate to modern format named debian.sources, and there I grabbed these suites, and here you see I'm running testing. This is a new test system here, virtual machine, and stable security are just for security updates for Firefox also. So I want to show you unattended upgrades. Sudo apt-list unattended upgrades. Here we see this. I have two versions, and we do a show. Here you get an overview of unattended upgrades. Oh, sorry, it's German here, but you can read it by yourself. I recommend to always read the manual page, read the wiki page, and so on. We try w3m packages.debian.org unattended upgrades. Yeah, here. Oh, it's German. Here you see unattended upgrades, stable versions, the testing version. Trixie is getting the new stable in a few months. So packages.debian.org, you can search there very simply for the current versions of a program. Also you can go here to search and type the program you want to look. Also the program is apt-config. I type this, and then here we see also this package is needed for the configuration, apt-config-auto-update. Oh, I bookmark it. Go back, bookmark it, and also I want to show you. Okay, no, do it this way. I think wiki.debian.org unattended upgrades. We will see, is it successful? Not available, but we type here. The wiki page from Debian is also recommended to read there for packages. Unattended -upgrades, search title. Here we see is a wiki page. Bookmark it. Not available. Okay. This is a bit confusing. But we can. What is this? Similar names. Okay. We will search unattended upgrades. Search full text. Here we see unattended upgrades. Add bookmark. So, and here you'll see here wiki.debian.org unattended upgrades. This is a link, and here you can read about this. Here we see two important files we have to check later. 20 auto-upgrades. This is delivered from the package apt-config-auto-updates also. And yeah, read the wiki page by yourself to learn the important stuff. Also, the graphical program software minus properties minus GTK is very recommended. I find out in the new stable coming up, the Trixie current testing, it is broken until yet. I hope they fix it since or to the day Trixie gets a new stable, but this is broken because the new format of the sources list. Okay, so we just see here, for example, the apt-config-auto-upgrades. The two lines here we have to see later in the file, and we have to access dpkg-reconfigure unattended-upgrades. Yeah. So that's just it. Did I bookmark it? I think so, but okay. Send it in the background. Now, sudo apt install unattended upgrades. I do it step by step, I would say. What is with, that's it, enter. Then apt-list changes. No. Here we see also the packages, apt-listchanges. List changes. Isn't installed yet. Okay, maybe we need also this program, but I break here. cd/etc apt and ls. Now we see here, this is, we are here in this directory, and here this is the important file we have to edit later, and also 20 auto minus upgrades. Interesting that it is already installed yet. Okay, I think there is, we check this out. Install apt-config-auto-update. We install this, and then ls. Yes, now you see we have a new file here, 10 periodic. So I kept these files out, and we see what it is, what is in there. ls cat 10 periodic, and we see here this is this one, and 20 auto upgrades is this one. Now I recommend to set up the auto clean interval. 0 is disabled, 1 is every day. Clean the apt cage. This is under /var cage apt archives, because when you download packages and so on, it will grow and grow and grow and uses more disk space. So you can also set it to 7. This is once a week, or 30 once a month, however you want it. I do it normally daily. We just do nano. Oh, we can also do set -I search clean interval substitute 0 with 1. Oh, and do it with 20 auto upgrades. No, 10 periodic. So then just 10 periodic, and we see there is the 1. So update package lists is enabled, unattended upgrade is enabled, then update package list and download upgradable packages. This one is also very good. You can use unattended upgrades also just to let the packages download in the background and don't execute the full unattended upgrade. This would be possible if you just do this line in auto upgrades from 1 to 0, then it will not execute the full unattended auto upgrades, but it would download the upgradable packages. This is also possible. So you have a few use cases for using unattended upgrades, so that you can automate things. But I like the full process. I like to auto clean, I like to auto download, and I like to auto update the package list and do the full unattended upgrade. This is not recommended for Debian SID, the development branch, and not recommended for testing. But this is a virtual machine, and I just try things out. On my host machines, I use Debian stable, and now I'm using Debian since the year 2005. It's now my 20-year anniversary. I could celebrate. And Debian is awesome. I did the right decision 20 years ago, and now I think before 1.5 years I started with unattended upgrades on my host machines, and I run, for example, my laptop or another laptop from a family member. I'm running unattended upgrades with Debian stable, and it is awesome. It's running, and you don't have to care about anything. The updates gets installed in the background, and it's amazing. You have all checks here every day, and you have all the time a full updated system without caring about anything. You don't have to look at it. It's amazing. Normally it's the idea to execute it on Debian servers, but also you can use this on a desktop. And so I have a laptop and it's running. I don't care about updates. And I never in the whole 20 years normally have Debian get broken, and also the unattended upgrades, because it is created for servers. That's why it is so stable. So, and now normally we have seen in the wiki you have to execute sudo dpkg-reconfigure. There was also, I just do it this way, unattended upgrades. So this is what you have to execute to enable unattended upgrades normally here, and then enter to yes. Sorry, it's in German. I have to create a machine with English locales for the future videos. And I think normally there should be no changes. Okay, yes, that's it. And now we will edit 50 unattended upgrades. And okay, this is sudo. I blend this out, and then we will see here. So the 2 slashes here is out commenting. Normally you may be knowing for scripting and so on, you have the this sign here, but here in this file is 2 slashes is out commenting. So all the lines where the 2 slashes are before that will not be read. So we have here 3 lines that are not out commented, and you see here origin, Debian, codename, distro codename, comma, label, Debian. Then we have Debian security, and here also Debian security, and then here is also Debian backports. Now I'm running a fresh role, Debian testing, so there we don't have backports, we don't have security. Oh no, sorry, I have the repo from Debian stable also in here, so it's okay to use this. And I think I change this to, oh no, I did it wrong. I think so. Or no, that's wrong. Okay, I will not do so many things here. Okay. We see normally you don't have to change many things here. When you run a simple Debian stable, you normally have to change nothing here, but we have possibilities. So going back, we can specify here exactly which repositories we want to integrate in the automated upgrades. So you have here in this line the stable, the default main repository. You have here the security, and the backport. So then when you have a mixed system, this is what is not recommended normally, but I don't mix really, because I just want to have the Firefox or Chromium from the Debian security branch. so I always have the newest packages from testing. Normally it's okay. This unattended upgrade, so it's a virtual machine. It's not my host system. On a host system, I recommend to do it always simple and clean and don't have a mixing system and nothing. So just a clean system that is running. We see here autofix interrupted dpkg. This is, I think the same would be sudo apt install -f to fix errors, and unattended upgrades is doing this by default. This is great. Then we have unattended upgrades minimal steps. Minimal steps is I can show you on my host machine. Just look sudo tail -77, for example, var cage apt no var log unattended upgrades dash dpkg.log, then just do unattended. This is this one, and then yes, so I show you. This is a bit too, yes, we do it this way. We change it pipe into less, and we change this to 177, so we have a more longer output. Here you see the detailed output of unattended upgrades, for example. I want to show you what is minimal steps. You know, when you do a manual update and upgrade, you install directly the whole packages, and it's very fast. He executed just in this time with no delay. And unattended upgrades is created to be running in the background. So, and when you use a system, you don't want to have a high CPU load for processes in the background. When you have processes in the background, it should be so large. So, and this is why unattended upgrades is not by default running and executing the upgrades in minimal steps. So this means you see this here in the log file. We see here is 7 for April 2025, and we see here we have always this stuff for 1 or 2 packages. We see here lib app-armor, and he executes always just 2 packages or 3 packages. Then we have the Linux image, and he executes this and installs this, and we see at the time this is running in. This is a complete upgrade what is running in the background, yeah, and he splits it in minimal steps. Yeah, the dpkg command is executed always with a few packages. Then he pauses a second or two and runs the next. Why is it so? This is because when he executes this way, you can interrupt this process, for example, to shut down the system. So this is the way unattended upgrades works, so that you don't have a long running process that can't be interrupted, and maybe you are traveling, you are on tour, and you want to close your laptop very fast, and then you sit there and say, oh no, I have to wait until this upgrades in the background is successful. No, you can interrupt this, and this is great. So, and also the CPU load is very low because it runs in minimal steps and do it not in the full process directly. This means it needs a bit more of time in the whole, but the thing is you don't really will it don't normally on my laptop, for example, there are 1.5 years I do the unattended upgrades in the background. I remember never ever where I sense it, where I feel it that in the background is running a process. I don't feel it. So this is because of these minimal steps. Yeah. So this is unattended upgrades is really, really, really great. Created great. Now we have also an option install on shutdown. You can change unattended upgrades completely in the way it works, that it's not running in the background when the system is running, but it downloads the packages in the background. But when you shut down, it would be install the packages when you shut down the system. The problem is here, when you want to shut down, you often have to wait so that the updates are installed. I tried this for a time, and it is good on older machines, for example, on real old machines, where it would be block your system that you can't use it when the upgrades run in the background. But my experience is the default configuration from unattended upgrades to run in the background, if the system is running, is the best. With the normal machines of today, you don't will feel it. So this is just an option that's possible to use. By default, it's to false. Normally, also the out-commented lines, the option that is here, true, false. Normally in this configuration file, it is so that even this is out-commented, this is the default setting for unattended upgrades. So you have, when you want so you let it here, just let it out-commented. You don't have to change anything. But this, what here is reading, is the default configuration. When you want to change this, you have to out-comment it and change false to true. Okay, so now we have also here the unattended upgrade mail. You can set in here an email address so that you get emails about information which upgrades would be running or was running. I use, and have written an alias apt-log, where I just can view the unattended upgrades log file, and then I also have a good, simple, fast view on it, on the process. Are the updates running well? Then you can also set here in which case the email will be sent only on error or every change. And then we have remove unused kernel packages is by default to true, even you don't have to uncomment it, like I said. And this is great because you always have a clean system, and this is what I like on unattended upgrades. It installs the upgrades and updates, also the new kernel, and also it removes the unused kernel, but you will always have minimal 2 kernels on the system, so you will always have a fallback kernel if something isn't running well. But on Debian, everything is running well. It's amazing. So this cleans the unused kernel so that your system isn't blown up and there are 3, 4, 5, 7 old kernels on the system. You don't need it, and it's always clean. Remove new unused dependencies is by default also true. This is always also really well done, because if you get updates and upgrades and the package gets a new upgrade and have a new dependency, for example, that will be installed, but also have an old dependency where it is no longer be used, and unattended upgrades will remove directly this new case. In this new case, the unused dependency, which changed because of the update. Yeah, this is this case. We have the other case here, remove unused dependencies. The difference is new unused dependencies. So this only removes new unused dependencies that occurs because of the update. And maybe you make manual changes on your system and remove a package from program and so on, and you only removed with sudo apt remove, for example, this one package, but you don't remove the dependencies. This is this case. And unattended upgrades, by default it is to false, will not remove unused dependencies by default. So it will not remove unused dependencies that are created because you have deinstalled a package. It only removes the new unused dependencies that occurs because of the update. Okay, you understand? Now we have the automatic reboot option. Automatic reboot is because, for example, of the kernels or the libc or other things, daemons running in the background and so on. Mostly on Debian it is so that on updates the daemons, the background processes are restarted by default, but for example, for the kernel, you have to do an automatic reboot. By default, it is to false, but you can change this. For example, this is mostly for servers. You can change this to true, and then you can automatic reboot with users is also an option. This is for servers. Automatic reboot time, you can change this, for example, to 3 or 4 o'clock. This is here by default. Then you have download limit. Yeah, this is also great, I have to say it, because you will feel or sense that it's running in the background. For example, you look at a video on YouTube or so, and you don't have a very fast network, and it would download the packages with the full limit, the full bandwidth. Maybe you will sense it your main process you are doing. And so this is great that it is limited. It's running in the background and you don't will sense it. So enable syslog is also an option, syslog facility daemon. Then we have also this option only on AC power. By default, this is true. This means, this is important, unattended upgrades will not be executed if you running, for example, a laptop on battery. And you can decide it by yourself which case you want. I like the default option. I'm really happy with all the default options from unattended upgrades, so I don't chase anything, only the repositories, for example, when I have the Brave browser installed. And here, this is just when you run on battery, it will don't execute unattended upgrades. So it does it only when you are on AC power. Then also an option is skip updates on metered connections. For example, you are on tour and you have a network only over a mobile phone with a metered connection, and in this case also the updates will not be executed. This is by default. You can change this. You can also change this to false here, so it will be updated when you are on battery. So this is this. Then also allow downgrade is by default by false. So this is also good. Downgrades will not be occurred. So this is just a special case. Normally you don't use this. But it is good to explain. You see here, by default, Debian always sets the configurations to a really secure and stable matter of way. And this is why I like Debian. It's amazing. It's always just stable and secure. Then allow up-to-mark fallback. This is also another special option when you are holding packages and so, but on a normal system you don't make so many specific things. So in the normal way, unattended upgrades is only recommended for Debian stable, and so when you use the default options, normally you don't have to change this file. But I showed you and explained you just the options here. I did changes? No, don't change. So this is this, and now I can show you on my host system. I alias apt-log. I created for myself alias apt-log, and this will execute sudo clear uptime sudo apt-list -e Linux image, shows me all my installed Linux images, the kernels, then shows the current running kernel, then sudo tail 77, the last 77 lines of the var log unattended upgrades log, then the date, then word list shows me the counted installed packages, also in just an alias from me, and then echo uptime, then let's show the size of package archives, so I can look if unattended upgrades has cleaned the cache, and then the disk space also. So that's it. I execute apt-log, and you see this is the output. So this is it. I see here the installed kernels and then the running kernel, and I see, okay, today there should be an update from the kernel because I run the old kernel, but a newer one is installed. And then I look here, the log from unattended upgrades. In this case, very many stuff is here. On my host machine, this isn't the case. Sorry, this is my host machine, but do I tell? On my laptop, this isn't the case, because this is Debian testing. It is a bit more in this case. On Debian stable, it's a bit cleaner, the output. So I think this will also change when Debian Trixie gets the new stable. So we have here the day 5555. I will look for 555. So there are many informations. 555. And you always, so this is in German now. And you have here very many informations, and then you find out the important informations. For example, this: es wurden keine Pakete gefunden. Is in English, there was no packages found to get updated. And these lines, you can also do it with grep and find these lines. And then we have here the day 6, and we have here always the script für automatische Systemaktualisierung wird gestartet. Script for automatic system updates gets started. And on these lines you can switch and view the protocol. And here also this one, all system upgrades are installed. When you see this, you see, okay, here updates was running. And then mostly the line above this, there you see the list of the packages. Here that is this, Pakete, welche aktualisiert werden, packages which will be upgraded. And then you see cron, here you see the list of the packages. And then you can look in this log just, okay, these packages are upgraded. Okay, then I know, this was, so maybe the case I never had something as an error, broke something or something, you can just look in it which packages was upgraded, what was happened here, and then you know what is happened. But 1.5 years, I never had an error, I never had a broken packages with unattended upgrades. Here we have also a list of packages that would be upgraded just today, and so you can view these files. I show you. For example, I can grab the log file. Aktualisiert ist sudo grep aktualisiert var cache var log unattended-upgrades.log unattended. So, and now I just grabbed for this one line. So this is possible. You can search for one word where you have the specific information you need and grab this one word in the log, and you will only get this line and see the days. The 1st April, I get this informations, this package is upgraded. The 3rd April, I got this packages upgraded. The 4th April, I got this packages upgraded. The 5th April, I got this packages upgraded. The 6th April, I got this packages upgraded. And just today, the 7th April, I got this packages upgraded. So you have a fast overview on which packages was upgraded in the last week. When you just grab a specific word, what you have to find by yourself in the log. So for example, you also can do it this way when you need a more specific aktualisiert werden, then it grabs for this complete, then it grabs for 2 words to get really the exactly line you want. So this is this. I'm back on the virtual machine, and now the important is also normally it would be possible to run on a normal machine, stable machine with not many repositories. Unattended upgrades should be run, so you can install and you can initialize with this command. You can initialize the unattended upgrades, check the files I showed you, and then you just, for the next days and weeks, you just always look in the logs which packages was upgraded and was it successful. But then also you can, so normally the upgrades are installed in the background, and then just you can also just check by yourself sudo apt-update, and you can check by yourself other packages that wasn't installed automatically. Here we see alle Pakete sind aktuell, all packages are current. And when you see some packages are not installed automatically, you have to check what is going on. And then you have to sudo unattended upgrades ---try -run -d for debug. And then you get specific output. What is unattended upgrades doing, and are there errors in? So, and you see this output, for example. Here you see, please install the package power mgmt base. This package is important to be installed for the check that the system only does the updates on AC power and not on battery power. So it's not installed automatically, so you have to install it by yourself when you really want the checkup. And then you get just the informations marked not allowed. So in the debug output, you see all the stuff. You also see which packages from which repository are marked for not allowed for the auto upgrades. So for this stuff, you can look specific which repository and which architecture and which component is allowed and is not allowed. Okay, and now here is not allowed because I only have allowed the updates from Debian Trixie. I have also in the repository the Debian stable repository, but I don't enable it in the configuration of unattended upgrades. So this is why here stands not allowed stable, not allowed, because it isn't enabled. It's only Trixie that is enabled. And this is, here we see not allowed, and so, okay, you have to check it and learn by yourself. I just show you a few things. So this is just when an error occurred and something is not really running. So also we can execute unattended upgrades manually. This was a dry run, so it was not really executed. And also you can do sudo unattended upgrades, execute it manually. You can do it in debug mode, where you get very much information, or you just do, I showed you the dry run with debug mode yet in this moment, and now I execute unattended upgrades just in the normal mode. And you see, when you execute it manually, you will see no output, absolute no output, because unattended upgrades is running in the background and writes the output in the log, in the sudo tail -44 var log unattended upgrades.log unattended upgrades. So this is, and now you see date, we see 1640, 1639. Here I executed the unattended upgrades, and you see in the log it is written. This is what happened just this moment. The checkup for the AC power, then the here script is started, then allowed sources, and here in the debug mode I showed you which packages are not allowed, and here you see allowed sources, and we see codename Trixie is allowed. Trixie security is not yet available, but when Trixie gets stable, then Trixie security. So we have only Trixie allowed. Yeah, and then no packages are found to get automatically upgraded. So that's it. Look in the log. And yeah, when you have no time and you think, okay, I want the upgrades just yet, you also can start unattended upgrades manually this way and execute it so that you have the upgrades done and everything is good. For example, so my experience is unattended upgrades is running in most of the time in the first hour the system is running. I had maybe once the case that unattended upgrades is executed just in 1 hour and 5 minutes or so, but mostly unattended upgrades is executed when the machine is running 30 minutes, 35 minutes, or 40 minutes, mostly. I also have the case that it occurred on and executed after 20 or 10 minutes the system is running. So what is the case? What is the point here? Unattended upgrades is configured in this way that it will be executed randomly in the first hour, mostly. Not mostly in the first half or in the first 30, 40 minutes. So you will not get the update after 2 or 3 hours. But in this first hour, it will be executed randomly. So sometimes after 30 minutes, sometimes after 40 minutes, sometimes after 20 minutes, and in another case, just after 55 minutes or so. But mostly it's around 30 minutes, 35 minutes or so. Yeah? So this is also, why is this the case? Because Debian is created mostly for servers. And when you have many, many servers in one infrastructure, you don't want that all the servers does upgrades in the same time, in the same minutes. This is because the unattended upgrades is created to do the upgrades randomly or random on a random time. So you have splitted the upgrades on the time range. Okay, one server does it yet, or another server does it later, and so on. I'm not sure how it is when a server is running 24 hours. For this, I have not the experience. Maybe the range of execute the upgrades is much more higher. I don't know. But if you use this on a normal machine, you start just every day by yourself. It is in the first hour you run the system. Okay, so that's about this. Did I forget something? I absolutely like unattended upgrades. Here you see the first output and the second output. Every time you start unattended upgrades manually, it writes an output in the log. But this is normally not the case because it's running in the background over a daemon. You can check sudo systemctl status unattended upgrade service, and here you have the information, the status. Here, this word you can change to start and stop or enable or disable. Disable would be disable the unattended upgrades complete so that it isn't get started in the background on the next reboot. When you are running a system and you think, okay, I don't want to have executed unattended upgrades in the next 2 hours, you can manually type sudo systemctl stop unattended upgrades, for example, and you make sure, okay, here I have a presentation or something. I don't want to have the process executed yet in the next hours. Then you can stop the background process. But in stopping, it's just stopped for now. And when you restart the system, it is automatically running. Only if you do disable, then it is disabled until you enable it again. So that it, and you see here active running, enabled. When you disable it, this point would not be enabled. You would be reading here disabled. So when you disable it, only disabled, but it is not stopped. So there are differences. So I just wanted to show you this. So this is this one. Then I apt-log. I recommend you to. Okay, I have an error here. No, .bash aliases. Oh, what have I done? I think that's upgrades. This should be spa-sources apt-log, and now we see, yeah. So write your own alias, and you can very fast check the log file without type the whole long command line. This is my alias. Also, I have an alias for apt-up. It's just sudo apt-update. And I have an alias apt-list worklist. This is always executed after the other aliases. And so that's it. This is why I love Debian. I absolutely love Debian. It's the perfect system. And this unattended upgrades make Debian absolutely perfect. You have a system, you set it up, set it and forget it, you say. And you have this system. Once you set it up, you don't have to care any time more. I run this my laptop. I use my laptop only for work stuff. I don't care about the machine anymore. I don't care. I don't have to make updates manually. It's all running perfectly in the background. And what I wanted to show you also is I have here sudo nano /etc apt 50 unattended. What I want to show you also is how to set a specific repository for program, for example. For example, I have integrated the Brave browser here in my system. And you see here, this are the original lines outcommented from the unattended upgrades. And I have copied this and enabled here Trixie security. And I also have enabled here bookworm security. But I always get the Trixie because Trixie have always the higher version numbers. So, and I have stable security only because when you read the Debian pages, you will see that it is not recommended to run Trixie by default, testing by default, the testing branch, because the testing branch gets the security updates for the browsers and other security updates at least. So this is why I added the bookworm, the stable security branch repository. So I get the update for the browser from the stable branch because there you get the security updates first. So this is why I did this, but it is a specific case. This is not the default case I would recommend for new users. And I do this only because Trixie gets a new stable in a few weeks or months. So, and then also here is the line for the Brave browser. Brave browser isn't in the normal Debian repositories, so I like this browser and I added this browser manually here for the automated updates. And I have experience now for over one and a half year, and it's running perfectly with unattended upgrades. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, I go here and I want to show you at the apt sources.list.d. Important is here ls-l. Here you see the sources list is size 0 now, and since Debian Trixie, the sources list will be moved to sources list back, and you get new modernized format of the sources list in the apt-sources list.d directory, and this is here. So, and when you execute the sudo apt modernize-sources, this is a command. When you execute sudo apt modernize-sources, it will take your sources list. When you do this, out command all lines, you want to migrate it to the new format. And then this command will write this file and a few more files that ends with sources at the end. Okay, and then you can change it a bit, like I have changed here. This file was named moved from main also, and I changed it to backports. Yeah, so I don't execute it yet, and I will show you cat debian.sources. This is a new format from the debian.sources, and here you see it's all about categories, and you have all this. The enabled yes wasn't here by default. I found this on the main page also, and I set it in here, and this is why I can, for example, I can here enable no. I can switch very fast. You don't have to outcomment all the things. You just change from yes to no, and this one is disabled then. You can do it. But when something is, read by yourself and search by yourself about this. So this is this file, then cut backports. This is backport sources, Trixie minus backports is enabled yet, but when Trixie is stable, I will do is disabled yet, and I will enable it when Trixie gets a new stable. And then also I show you Nala is just a newer package installer. I don't have to say so many yet. I want to show you Brave browser release. Oops, what do I have? Sources. So this is the Brave browser release. You have to check the web page from Brave browser, how you add it to Debian and so on. And yeah, that's it. This is just to get Brave browser integrated in your sources list, that you have it in the repositories, and then you can install and update it manually. But when you want it also that the repository gets also automated upgraded with unattended upgrades, you have to add a specific line here in the configuration of unattended upgrades. And how you do it, please don't copy just the line what you see here in my system. You have to check sudo apt policy Brave minus browser. So this is important. Execute the command sudo apt policy Brave browser, and then what I wanted to say. No, and then you see all the versions from Brave browser. Okay, apt policy is great. You see all the versions available from a program and so on, but this isn't what I wanted to show you. I don't have to add Brave browser here. I just do sudo apt policy. And then you see all the main repositories that are enabled on your system. And then I have to search here in this list for Brave browser. So, and now you see I have this line. And when you type sudo apt policy Brave browser, you will get this exactly line. It lists all the versions that are available. But I want this line to put it into the unattended upgrades config. So I do just sudo apt policy. And then you get all the repositories and search for Brave browser. And then you get this line. Okay, this line. You have to add this line. Not this. Only O is origin, Brave software, A is archive, N is name also, L is label, and this line, copy it, and then insert it here. For example, I just do it to show you, then I do so, and you see it's a bit different. but mainly it's the same like I had already added here. O is Brave software, A is stable like here, N is stable, and L is Brave browser is also here, and C is main, AMD 64, and site. So you can also add a site is. And how you can read this? I go up here. You have to read the configuration. Here you see ACLON. These are the things, or halt full word is archive suite, component, label, origin, codename. So this is origin equal codename and so on. This is the explanation of the short characters here, okay? And you have to understand, make sure that you don't have here a few stuffs that isn't listed here as an option, yeah? And notice the commata here, notice the quotes, and then notice here the semicolon at the end. So make sure you have exactly the format that is given here. When you don't do it exactly how it has to be, you get errors. So, and the line is the line that has to be inserted, you get through the sudo apt policy output. So this is the way you have to do it, and then after this check unattended upgrades minus debug, and you will see is it possible. And after this you just, like I said, you just check the next days and weeks the upgrades, and you will see is Brave browser automatically upgraded in the upgraded log, in the unattended upgrades log, or when you just do for checkup manually sudo apt-update and upgrade, is it already standing there that it has to update? So then you see, is it successful or is it not successful? And when all things are running, you normally never have to do a sudo apt-update, sudo apt-upgrade again until you get a new Debian release, a new Debian stable. So that's it. This is why I love Debian so much, and it's absolute amazing. So have fun. Learn Debian, use unattended upgrades, and set your machine, and it will be running safe and stable for all the time.